name is Melissa Shea. I'm with FashionMingle.net, and we have today the interview with Stephen Marinaro, the Salon Guy. Stephen's been a veteran of the beauty and the fashion industry for over 20 years and has experience in salon, media, and the fashion industry. Stephen may have started out in the salon, but he has built an impressive media empire that boasts almost 2 million YouTube views, and he has had content distribution deals with Rightster and Broadband TV that carry his interviews with leading celebrities and fashion icons.
Hey, I'm Stephen, the Salon Guy, and I want to welcome you to the 9th annual Style Awards here at Lincoln Center, kicking off Mercedes-Benz Fashion Week.
So Stephen, you've got a lot going on with your brand. Tell us what your core services are and what you've got going on right now.
Well, hi, Melissa. First of all, thank you so much for having me on your show. It's really awesome. I like your hair, by the way. It looks beautiful.
Thank you very much.
So thank you for having me on and that great introduction. Yes, I've been in the beauty industry, going on 20 years, actually probably 20 years, almost 21 years now. Time flies so quick as I get older, But yeah, I've been very, very busy. You mentioned a few key points and key things in my career and in my brand as Salon Guy. I've been spending a lot of time the last 4 years or so building up my Salon Guy brand, and it's been a long journey. It's been an incredible journey, a lot of hard work, a lot of dedication, and it all comes down to building up your brand, looking at what you do as a business, and taking pride in what you're doing and putting the effort and the labor into it. So a lot of my core services involve media production. They involve hosting red carpet events. They involve, producing shows and events. So I'm kind of like a hybrid between, a producer, an on-camera talent, a hairstylist, and also like a producer. So, from a local business, whether they want me to produce a video for their event or almost like a commercial for a story of what represents their business, to producing a major event where there's a red carpet, and I can produce, a video team and be the correspondent for that. I'm also offering consulting, so people looking to build a business or their brand, I can do, an hour, 2-hour consulting, and that can be done through something like this, or I can go on location. So I'm really about inspiring people and helping people, and I put 150% into everything that I do. So that really sums up kind of the core services, and also as far as some tech stuff too, because I am kind of a techie. So I offer web development, graphic design through partners that I work with, SEO services. So there's an online web and tech presence as well. So if people are looking for things like that, those are available as well.
So so that sounds really interesting. So you started out just as a hairstylist, and then you really discovered all these other talents about yourself, and you created a new brand for yourself. But it sounds like the journey that you've been on as an entrepreneur, you're sharing that with other people who have a dream of being an entrepreneur as well. Do you primarily focus on working with people in the salon industry, or do you work with people that are wanting to grow their business in a different industry?
It comes down to people in general. No matter what industry you're in, I want to help everyone. So I've been actually, outsourced or brought in from different industries to say, hey, we're throwing an event, we want you to be our guy who hosts our video, so whether it's a tech industry, whether, hotel industry, entertainment, whatever it is, I've consulted with people in any industry because, we're all human beings, we all have the same goals and dreams, and, when it comes to being an entrepreneur, business is business. So if I can inspire somebody who's got a restaurant, if I can inspire someone who's got, a hair salon or whatever business it is, I can, that's where my background comes into play because, I've been involved in the tech industry since 1999. I founded the first ever search directory for hair salons called salonsearch.com. So I was always involved in tech. I was always involved in the internet, so I've learned so many things throughout the way, whether it's marketing, whether it's, video production, whether it's public speaking, whether it's consulting. There's so many aspects that I can apply to any business. So really, it's universal.
Right, and nowadays it's really about branding yourself, personally, branding your image as well as branding your business. So it does sound like you've got a lot of things that you can offer. I'm really fascinated with your story, how you started out, being, working in a salon. So I'd love for you to share that with us. And then what was the point when you decided to create your own brand, The Salon Guy?
Well, it's very interesting. You know, I graduated high school back in 1992, which I know I'm a dinosaur. Well, okay, I'm not that old. I mean, come on.
No, no, you're not. No, I'm older.
But you know, so it started graduating high school, not really having any idea what I wanted to do. It's kind of a funny story. Down the street from where I lived was a strip mall, and there was a hair salon in there. And I tell this story all the time. I used to, you know, go down the strip mall and pass this hair salon. And I saw this gorgeous woman from afar, and I go, oh my God, that girl's gorgeous, you know. And I said, you know, I don't know what to do. So I'd pass by, you know, I wasn't stalking the woman, but you know, I would pass by and I go, hey, there she is again. So I said,
well, maybe then it wasn't called stalking, but it might be called stalking now.
Don't make me look that bad. I mean, come on. But no, I mean, so then I said, you know, I need a job, but I also wanted to meet her. So I went in there and I said, hey, look, you know, I'm looking for a job. And the funny thing is that woman who I had kind of had a crush on was about 20 years older than me and wasn't as attractive up close. But you know, it was still funny. And they said, hey, you a hairstylist? I'm like, no, I'm a high school graduate. I'm looking for a job. I need some money. And that kind of like introduced me to the whole salon industry. And they said, well, you know, we'll take you in and we'll make you an assistant. You know, you'll clean up and do this and that. And they kind of introduced me to the whole industry. And they said, you know, you can go to school for this. And I said, okay, that's interesting. And you know, at the time, I wanted to go to college, but then I wanted to take some time off. I wasn't sure. So I took a job there, and I really got a good feel of what the industry was like. And then I decided I wanted to go to school for it. At the time, I was like, you know, cutting my friends' hair. I was shaving their heads and doing all sorts of things, like on a really small scale. I went to school for 2 years. I went to a vocational school, got my license, and at the same time, I worked at that salon. And that kind of jump-started everything to, you know, getting so involved in the industry and being so passionate about it. Now, hair didn't come easy for me because I wasn't, you know, playing with hair, doing makeup and all these things. I really had a hard time with it technically. And then finally things started to come around for me. I got a mentor. You know, I used to go out to shows and I'd see people I looked up to. I'm like, wow, I want to be like that guy or this guy. You know, so I had a mentor, and he mentored me for at least 4 years in my industry. You know, I owe so much to that guy. You know, he taught me what not to do. He put me through a lot of difficult situations so I can see, you know, and appreciate the good things that when they came. So I had to go through the bad things, and that's very important with growing your business or just in life in general. So, you know, after doing that and then kind of growing, working for a couple of different major companies, I then, you know, actually decided to leave the industry, and I went to believe it or not, I went to law enforcement and public safety. So I wanted to be a hero. So I did 6 years of service between being a fireman, police. I went to a police academy, fire academy. I did all this stuff. Yeah.
Wow, cool. That's amazing.
Yeah. I still kind of was involved in hair as, you know, very minimal amounts because I had a natural ability for it because I built it up. I just wanted something different. And then after 9/11, I said, you know what, I want to go back into the industry I love. You know, I don't want to put my life on the line anymore. So I decided to get back right into the salon industry again. And about 4 years ago, a very emotional story, my mother had passed away. And that is when I decided, I'm like, all right, I want to do something for her. I want to take the strength and courage she had, and I want to build up something. So that's when the Salon Guy was kind of born. You know, at first I started as a blog. I'm like, I don't know what to do with it. And then everything kind of just took off from there. So it turned into more of a media personality and a media brand. But that really is how it all originated. That's the story behind it. Okay,
that sounds really fascinating. So, so you took that leap. You decided to create this brand. Now, you started out just making videos, I understand. So tell me a little bit about how you actually started the Salon Guy YouTube channel, because that's, you know, that's how you're famous. And tell us a little bit about, you know, what you think went into getting your popularity started on your YouTube channel.
Well, that's a great topic. You know, a lot of it started kind of pre-YouTube because, you know, I was trying to figure out what I want to do, you know, and how I want to take the Salon Guy and what I want to do with it, because back then it was simply a name, you know, and I tried to create a blog, but I wasn't like, you know, I wasn't sure where I wanted to go. So I said, you know what, I want to take this to the next level. And I was researching on YouTube for motivational videos, and I'm always looking on YouTube for things that inspire me, and I've got a lot of role models and, you know, mentors, and I came across a guy, Gary Vaynerchuk, who had a video about, how to loving what you do, and this whole presentation he did was so like badass and just so like in your face, like stop doing things you hate doing and start doing things you love. And I'm like, wow, and I just connected with him, and then I realized I learned he had a book, New York Times bestseller. I mean, the guy's he's really, really big right now, and he's an amazing person.
What's his name again?
Gary Vaynerchuk. You can Google him. I mean, he's all over the place. He's on Pierce Morgan. He's New York Times bestseller. I mean, he's a social media like guru and icon, but he's also an entrepreneur and an author and a lot of great things. And it actually took me 2.5 years almost for him to even get to notice me. Where now, I mean, now I can reach out to him or email him, and it's like a true honor, and that it. But that's the whole example of don't give up and your dreams come true. So make a long story short, he wrote a book called Crush It. That was his first book, and in that book, it basically describes what the steps he did for what he created. And he created a YouTube show called Wine Library TV, where he sat down with a camera and he recorded himself talking about wine, and he did it in a really goofy, wild way. And in the book, it says if you want to put yourself out there, create a YouTube channel. So I said, well, I love the industry. I love talking to people. I love technology. I can speak, in front of a camera. It's fine. So I started, putting on a suit, and I started creating these videos. And I said, if I can inspire one person with my message, because it was all about inspiring people in the industry, then I'm onto something. So that one person came after about 4 or 5 videos, like, Stephen, I've been watching your stuff. You're a huge inspiration to me. And I said, there's that one person. So I took that one person and that one emotional connection I had with one person, and then I said, you know what, I'm going to grow from this. I'm going to take the strength I had from my mother and everything and just apply it. So, YouTube was really what was my outlet initially, and then I combined it with Facebook and then social media. So the whole YouTube thing has been a very interesting process, and especially with with networks, and I learned a whole different thing about YouTube and how people really make could be really huge with your YouTube channel. And I actually became more well known from being on TV. I was on this reality TV show a couple times on Style Network, and that's kind of like how the whole thing connected to me, where people saw me on TV. And then I also was interviewing people on TV. So it all started to, once you're on TV, you're on like a major show, then people can connect you with that, or they can say, oh my God, I watched you on TV and all this stuff. And then just things kept snowballing all through my efforts, because nothing was really handed to me. But that's how it all kind of snowballed. And then now I would say maybe I'm more YouTube famous than, who knows. Sometimes people still might see me on reruns, or might see me with celebrities and all sorts of stuff. But YouTube is a heavy focus of one of the aspects that I'm doing.
Mm-hmm. So it sounds like you had an opportunity and you really took advantage of it. And then you have a very large social network on through Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. And I noticed that you're very, very active on Twitter, reaching out to people, making connections with people that you want to work with. Tell me about how you use social media to reach out to people and grow your own connections.
Well, it's a very good question. I'm known for saying this. I say it's not the number of people that's important. It's the people that make up that number. Okay. A lot of people are so heavily focused on, I got X amount of this, X amount of that. My number's so big, my number's so that. I go, okay, out of those 50,000 people, how many of them do you actually interact with? Like, how many? A lot of people become so famous because they get seen on something, and then so many people like their stuff, but there's no really interaction. I feel like I've built up my following from the ground up. From one person, I can tell a story, and it's wholeheartedly told. If I can inspire one person. Who thinks one is a big number? It's a small number. But what I did is, and I always tell people, work on that one core number, whether it's a small number, and build upon it. So how I did it was, everyone that watched my videos, I said thank you. I responded back to them. Simple lines of communication and putting yourself out there and engaging with people. So I kind of like, I had people watching my numbers go up. They're like, Stephen, you're up to like 10 likes this week, man, and I'm like, 10 people, So I always thought of it as people, And in the social media world, it's like, that's 10 likes, that's nothing. But I'm like, yeah, but those are 10 people that I can build upon. So where I've gone in 4 years from one person to now thousands of people, and on my YouTube channel, almost like you said, approaching 2 million. It's all about interacting the proper way. One thing I do a lot of is social media policing, where a lot of people use me, and then try to use, me to promote their stuff, which I learned the hard way, because I was doing that initially when I first started, where I was totally, social media bombing people's pages, and I'm like, oh, buy this from me, or buy that, or hey, do this. I was marketing my own stuff on other people's stuff. And fortunately, a close friend of mine named Ryan, he told me, he goes, dude, that's really looked down upon in the marketing world and sales world and social media world. And I was like, really? And he told me this almost 3.5 years ago. So ever since then, I never will go on anyone's page and be like, hey, and post an event, or I'll post something where it's all about self-promotion. And this is great advice for anybody who's looking to build their social media network. Message someone privately, or hey, could you post this for me? Here's what I'll do for you. If you make it all about you, forget it. People aren't going to want to work with you. And if they do, hey, you're lucky. But I don't do it that way, and I think it's well respected. And I know I probably made some people upset or hurt by not promoting their stuff, but because my network is so large, like, I'm all about professionalism, I'm all about class and building a relationship. So if you want to work with me, come to me in a way like a human being. Don't act like a frat guy and being like aggressive. You know what I mean? Like, don't act like you're trying to, be. You just have to have real grace and class with what you do, and that's what I do. So that's how I built up my network. My numbers are okay as far as social media. I mean, there's people with 900,000 followers and 1 million this, and I'm getting there, but I'm just happy with the steady growth of how everything is going.
Well, I think your social network is really impressive. I mean, considering you've really only been working on this for the last 4 years, I think was your first opportunity to really get out and start interviewing designers and celebrities. Was at Mercedes-Benz Fashion Week?
Well, actually, the celebrity stuff kind of came before that.
Okay.
Because when I was building my whole audience and finding out really what I wanted to do, a good friend of mine who was on TV at the time, and he also had been to Mercedes-Benz Fashion Week, and he was also producing things. So, I used to go to him as my go-to guy, and he saw what I was doing, and he was like, Stephen, here's my advice to you, and where you need to take what you're doing. He thought I wanted to be America's Next Top Hairstylist, which I didn't, and I still don't, because there's so many talented people. I'd rather highlight them and show them to the world. I'm not trying to. I mean, I can do decent haircuts, and I put out these videos, which is great, but I also like showcasing people. So he said, here's my advice, what I think you should do. And the advice was, I kind of keep it, something we have to keep kind of secret to ourselves, but he really gave me this great advice, which I really ran with, and it was about attaching myself to celebrities and connecting with people that are local and whatever I can reach out to. Because once you start attaching yourself to major networks or TV or anything you have to kind of jump up on the bandwagon with it, and you have to kind of attach yourself to it. But you have to do it in a very classy way, because it's very obvious if you're trying to write off someone else's success for your own success to make you look like a superstar. Where I've never done that, I will never do that, and that's not what I'm known for. I do everything in a very strategic way, and it's all about business and also sharing stuff with people. And there's a lot.
And I'm sure you do a very good job of, like, if you are doing something for a celebrity or a fashion designer, it's beneficial to them. It's not just beneficial to you.
Yeah, exactly. And that's very transparent in all my videos, all the relationships I've built up. It's clearly not about, hey, I'm Stephen, blah, blah, look at me, I'm with so-and-so. It's really, I joke around all the time. I'm a real kind of goofball in my interviews and stuff. And anything I do, it's really to highlight and focus what other people are doing. So what really elevated everything for me was, the celebrity aspect of, then I started being like an extra on TV a couple times, and just getting the feel of how TV worked. And then that started to just pile on top of each other to where, all of a sudden fashion came in. Because I was in the beauty industry, and I'm like, I love hair and makeup, but there was such a huge celebrity presence during fashion events. And that's when I learned of Mercedes-Benz Fashion Week. And I said, how do I even get in? And this friend of mine gave me the advice, and I was clueless. I applied for it. I got the credential, which is a process in itself, as you know. But that's when I started to see the whole fashion element, and then the celebrity element with fashion. So bring us till today. Yeah, I am heavily involved now with fashion, with producing things and getting a clear picture of how it all works from all different aspects.
So tell me a little bit about what it's like you went to the Oscars last year, right? Tell me what it's like to be on the red carpet. I mean, that's a pretty phenomenal achievement that you have.
Yeah, it really was a blessing. You know, the red carpet was at least, I think, almost 500 feet long. And you could see all my videos. I mean, I did, like, you know, what I was there for was to capture, like, behind the scenes, the setup of the Oscars. You know, and then there was like two major credentials. One was, you know, if you were like a major TV network, you had more access to it. And then, you know, mine had expired at a certain point when the day of the Oscars, so I filmed on the red carpet. I mean, it's like when you see the amount of networks and the people that were there, it's just overwhelming. I actually was on TV when the red carpet, when Terrence Jenkins and the whole thing, when they were doing, like, you know, on the red carpet before the Oscars, he was actually filming something for TV, and I was right behind him. And everyone, and all of a sudden I was getting messages from people like, "You're on TV right now, right behind me." And of course, I didn't see it until afterwards, and I'm like, and then people actually, like, were taking video, like, after they were recording it, and they stopped recording it to take a video of their phone, and they sent it to me, and I sent it to my, you know, my friend, people that were with us, and then I actually interviewed Terrence, who was his first time hosting at the Oscars, and that got such a huge amount of views, and that got so much publicity. But it was just an incredible experience. You know, I have so much respect for real movie productions, for Hollywood, for actors. Everybody's so hung up on reality TV, and I mean, you know, when you see what goes behind a major film production, from all the different aspects, there's nothing like it. You know, so I just have so much more respect now for the actors, for people that really are a true talent, and what they put into it. And also from the film production side of it to the hair and makeup side of it to everything that goes on to a major film, it's just a whole different level, and it's changed my way of looking at entertainment. You know, but that was, yeah, the Oscars was incredible, and I hope they go again next year too.
So what are some of the designers that you've interviewed at Mercedes-Benz Fashion Week?
You know, Zhang Toy, I'm a friend of Zhang Toy. You know, I'm really close with him, and I actually did an exclusive with him at the House of Toy where he just moved, which you can see on YouTube. So I did see that video. That was great. Yeah, and you know, Zhang is a great guy. He's super fun. Layla Rose, Carmen Mark Valvo, Timo Wieland. I mean, the list goes on and on. Richard Chai, Rachel Roy, I've interviewed, Milan Bertan. I mean, I can go down a list. I mean, and all these people, you know, I've built up relationships with them, as well as the hair teams, as well as the PR people. You know, so what happens is they get to know you, and they get to know what you do, and a lot of my content, you know, and the filming we do actually goes out usually the same night or the next day, and that's the first thing people see. So what happens is the hair team will start tweeting it out, the designer will start tweeting it out. Hey, check this out! It's the first thing out, and it's not just a runway. It includes backstage interviews, and includes the hair stuff. So, you know, I've learned how to be very strategic with my videos during Mercedes-Benz. You know. Yeah,
I know when we've covered Mercedes-Benz Fashion Week about the same amount of time, and it's very, very important to be strategic about your coverage, because it's so easy to get a ton of coverage and then not be able to get it out. So I really commend you for that fast turnaround. I know how challenging that is.
You know, those hard drives fill up pretty quick, huh?
Yeah, they do. Yeah, absolutely. So you have you've been also involved in producing events, and you have an event coming up in just a couple of weeks that is a beauty and fashion expo. Tell us about that.
Yeah, it's October 19th, 20th, and 21st. It's called the Euro Beauty Expo 2013, and Euro because we're going with a heavy Euro theme, and we're pulling in looks and kind of inspirations from Milan, Paris, London, you know, all these types of things that are heavily focused throughout Europe. So this beauty expo has been going on for over 20 years, and the company was Emiliani, and they just got bought out by SalonCentric, which is a huge beauty distributor. So now really it's their show now, but this show has been in existence for so long here in New Jersey, and you know, 7,000 to 10,000 people come. I mean, major beauty companies, you know, Matrix, Paul Mitchell, Joico, Farmisi, Farouk, all these big hair companies come in, and it's a 150,000 square foot space, and we're also putting a 100-foot runway pretty much dead in the middle of this show floor. And I'm bringing on 7 fashion designers, and these designers are they're very talented, and I like to give people opportunities. I mean, it's not easy to get, a major name designer to come to something like this, but
sure.
I do have the connections with really talented people, so I like to give them the opportunity to showcase their stuff. So I'm producing that as well, hosting the red carpet, producing the video production for it, and it's a really, really incredible opportunity. It's only open to salon professionals, so it's not open to the public where anyone can come in. But I am going to be providing the coverage for it. You'll be seeing the tweets, you'll be seeing the Facebook stuff, and the video coverage will be out. But if people from the media are definitely invited. I have a pretty large group of media coming. But the 19th is our VIP night, and we're flying in a team called Rush, and they're from London, and they have a huge presence, a salon presence out there in England, and we're flying them in. And for the VIP night, we're doing the red carpet, and then after that's done, there's a main stage presentation. We're having fashion designers collaborate with the hair team right on stage. So it's going to be really, really big. And then the 20th and 21st is when the show floor opens. That's when all of the attendees come, and they can watch the fashion designers, and they can watch, everything that's going on. And of course, we'll keep everyone updated with the information on my website, TheSalonGuy.com, with just how things are going. And there's going to be a lot of post coverage as well.
So if you're in the salon industry in the New Jersey, New York area, you can actually buy a ticket and come, or how would you get involved?
Yeah. If you basically purchase tickets, and if you go to SalonCentric, CENTRIC.com/education/Euro, that's where you can purchase tickets, and there's all sorts of packages available with hotel and all sorts of things. But it's a great event. I mean, it's great education, great products. I mean, you get a lot out of it. So it's a really, really interesting thing. But yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to it. It's a lot of work, but it's one of the things I'm working on right now. Yeah.
Okay, well that sounds really exciting. So you've got this coming on this month, possibly the Oscars, and then of course you'll be at Mercedes-Benz Fashion Week in February as well.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, there's that. What's happening now. And we can probably talk about this. Is the whole thing with the networks now the network that I'm on now is a lot of what I have to do is provide really good content. And because things are growing for me, and because people are seeing me with more and more high-profile things and people and events, I want to be at everything. So the SAG Awards, the Golden Globes, the Grammys, Oscars, every Emmys, every possible thing. I didn't get the Emmys this time, which stinks, but I don't give up. You know what I mean? But of course, you get approved to be like press, but they send you the things, the images, and all sorts of stuff, which is fine. But I'm applying for everything I can. Victoria's Secret fashion show coming up. I want to do everything I can that attaches myself with high-profile events.
Right, because you're now working with Rightster, and that's a video on demand platform. They're putting out your videos in their content distribution. That's how that works. How'd you get set up with them?
It's very interesting, and that's how my whole YouTube progress has started. Last year I was approached by a network called Broadband TV, and they're like probably one of the largest YouTube networks in the world. They have over 8,000 partners, which is 8,000 people like me, and the thing about what happens is everyone always asks me, how'd you do this, how'd you do that, or can you hook me up with this? I go, people they found me, through my hard work, and that's how things have to happen. A lot of people want it handed to them, but they reached out to me and they go, we like your niche. And that's the thing, is anyone can hold a video camera or a microphone and say they're a brand or say they're this, but I had a unique niche. The network liked it. They liked what I was doing. They said we don't really have anyone who's focused on what you're doing. We're interested in bringing you on. Now, of course, I had to have a certain amount of viewership. I couldn't go to them and go, oh, I've got 2,000 people a month watching my stuff. I had to hit a certain number that they consistently saw. So they scouted, they found me, and then when I signed with them, I was like, oh my God, I was like jumping for joy. It was such a huge opportunity, and I was so excited about it. And then from there is when everything started to grow on my YouTube channel. I started to learn how the back-end things worked with a YouTube network and with your videos. So then it became another business aspect of what I was doing, because you make money from it. The only way you're just going to make really big money is if you're getting loads and loads of views per video. I'm working very hard, and I'm seeing the financial growth in it. But like Jenna Marble, she's the one making big money. People like that are getting millions and millions of views per video. But I'm working towards it. But then with Rightster, I had saw that they had a strong presence in fashion and beauty where broadband really didn't. They were more entertainment-based movies. I mean, great stuff, trust me. But Rightster was a little more local. I could connect with them a little easier, and they were heavily focused on stuff that I was doing, fashion and beauty. So I managed to kind of get out of my contract and then switch over to them. And it's been about maybe a month or so, month and a half maybe, since I've been signed with Rightster. And it's been a great relationship. They're great people. They stream all the live shows during Mercedes-Benz Fashion Week, Made Fashion Week. They do stuff, and they're partners with all these other big companies and outlets too. So they really are a great company, and they're growing as well. But I just have such great support with them, and so they're keeping a close watch on my videos. There's a lot of back-end stuff that goes into it as well. They tell me do more of this, do less of this. So I'm really having a huge focus on my content right now. Because we all want to get those big views, and that's how the ads come in and all that. So, and that's where the money's made. But yeah. So now I'm with Rightster, and it's a great relationship, and I look forward to working with them. And I think we're both super excited about it.
Well, that's super. I'm so excited to see you, get into something new. That means there's going to be some really great things happening for you in 2014 that we'll be able to watch.
Yep.
And share with our network. So. It's time to end this interview, but I want you to give our listeners some advice on just being an entrepreneur. What are some of the things that you feel are essential to being a successful entrepreneur?
Well, it's a great question, and I try to share as much of my advice as possible from different elements because I get questions all the time from people. How do you do this? How do you do that? I want to do this. I want to do that. And there's been people that I know personally I've touched and I've changed their lives and I've helped their business grow. I think the key thing is to understand what your vision is. Whatever you put out is what you're going to get back in. So have a clear vision of what you want people to know you as and then how you go about doing it. Don't wait for things to happen. Learn as much as you can about what you need to do to get the job done because at some point you're going to rely on a lot of people to do things for you. Then you're going to be very disappointed. You're not going to have the money. You're not going to have the resources to help pay for these people that are going to make things happen for you when essentially you could possibly make them happen for yourself, whether it's buying a video camera, whether it's buying what you need, whether it's getting things you need that you can rely purely on yourself because you can only disappoint yourself and you can also make yourself the happiest, So when you can come down on yourself for something that doesn't work out, that just makes you stronger. So I always tell people to rely on yourself and build yourself up as much as you can, which will in the end result be your story that you can share with someone else and motivate them. So put a lot of hard work into what you do, a lot of hustle, a lot of dedication, a lot of passion, and don't give up and just have a clear vision. And remember, people will look at you for what you do and who you associate yourself with. I've had to go through a lot of things where certain people now I won't necessarily do business with. Doesn't mean they're bad people, but it just doesn't fit with what I'm trying to do. So, have a clear vision of who you want people to know you as. And sometimes those people fit in those markets, so it's perfect for them. Sometimes you need to kind of grow out of that. And again, it's no disrespect to other people, but it all has a certain fit, and you really have to know where you want to go with and how you want to be seen. I would say be very classy, be very graceful, and you're a true representation of your brand. What you put out is what you're going to get back. What people see is what people are going to remember of you. A lot of times I go to events, I'm always dressed in suits. People, oh, you look sharp all the time. People associate with me like that, and I'm very, very thankful and honored, and I've learned that from other people. It wasn't just me going, I'm going to wear a suit one day, and actually I did in the beginning, but it was because I don't know what else to do. But then I saw other people going, man, that guy's got such class, he's got such grace. So, just remember that whatever you do, it's going to be looked upon, whether it's good or bad, but just remember that it's a true reflection of who you are as a person. Be humble, be nice, be kind, be nice to people, and just do business in a very, very good way and connect with them as human beings, and that's the best advice I could possibly give, and I hope that whoever's watching this will be inspired by that,
Well, Stephen, that certainly is fantastic advice, and I really admire what you've done, creating a brand, building it, and getting all this success in such a short time. We really, really appreciate you taking your time to share this story with us, and we really look forward to following in the future.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me on your show, and thank you to all your viewers and people. And hey, if I can inspire you, I'm super happy. And again, thank you. And I definitely look forward to working with you in the future. And just keep following my stuff. I mean, I'm out there, and and if you laugh at my jokes, thank you.
Okay, now that's an order. Everybody start laughing at Stephen's jokes.
One of my best ones is, when I was younger, I told my family I wanted to get into comedy. They laughed at me.
Yay! That's a good one. We love it. Thank you so much, Stephen. And everybody follow Stephen over at The Salon Guy on Twitter, Facebook, and especially on YouTube.
All right, thanks so much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.